thrilled, absolutely thrilled to introduce at this time Eugene Gerhart.
It's a great honor to pay our mutual respects to one of America's greatest lawyers, United States Supreme Court, Justice Robert H. Jackson. Without hesitation, I regard him as one of the outstanding advocates of America. A native of Spring Creek, Pennsylvania, educated in Frewsburg and Jamestown, New York, he grew up to be a man that all Americans can admire. Although he never graduated from law school or from college, he rose to some of the highest offices in the land because he worked, because he was honest, he was intelligent, and because he respected his fellow men, like I see in this audience tonight. As a lawyer, he was a wise counselor. Like other wise counselors, he had to be a trial lawyer, an advocate, as we called them, a country lawyer of whom we can all be proud. He was not only active in his local bar, but he also later was active in our national capital. He held public office. He was helped along by his longtime friend, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Jackson became counsel to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. He soon became Solicitor General. Louis Brandeis, then on the Supreme Court himself, said that Jackson should be Solicitor General for life after he heard him argue a few cases before the Supreme Court of the United States. Jackson subsequently became Attorney General of the United States and advisor to the President. Later, as a Supreme Court Justice of the United States, Jackson was asked to vote on a case in which he had given the President an opinion as Attorney General. He voted the opposite way from the opinion that he gave the President earlier. He said, with his wonderful smile and his disarming congeniality, and I quote, "I see no reason why I should be consciously wrong today, because I was unconsciously wrong yesterday." A young man once asked Lincoln what he should do. He said, "I want to become a lawyer, but I don't think that I can be a lawyer and still be honest." Lincoln's reply was memorable. Here it is. "Resolve to be honest at all events. And if in your own judgment you cannot be an honest lawyer, resolve to be honest without being a lawyer. Choose some other occupation rather than one the choosing of which you do in advance consent to be a knave." There is something of Abraham Lincoln in Robert H. Jackson. It was Lincoln, you recall, who said, "I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have." Jackson worked assiduously to be the best that he could be with all of the attributes that he had. Most of all, like Lincoln, he stood with anybody who stood right. And he stood with them while they were right, and parted with them when they went wrong. One of Jackson's great essays, and one of your friends here, whom I met for the first time, Mr. Goodell, had a copy of it in his hand. It's called Tribute to a Country Lawyer. It's a book review he wrote about a Georgia lawyer, which we published in the American Bar Journal years ago. Well worth reading. Jackson ended his book review with these words, talking about the country lawyer. He was too independent to court the populace. He thought of himself as a leader and a lawgiver, and not as a mouthpiece. He lived well, worked hard, and died poor. Often his name was in a generation or two forgotten. It was from this brotherhood that America has drawn its statesmen and its judges. A free and self-governing republic stands as a monument to the little known and the unremembered, as well as the famous men of our profession. You can be mighty happy, every Jamestonian and every lady who is here in the audience with them. You could be proud that you could count among your citizens one of the finest lawyers and judges ever to sit on the Supreme Court of the United States. One who took his talents to the world stage at Nuremberg to help to make life better for people throughout the world. Why did I call his biography America's Advocate? There were two reasons. First, because he represented our country before the world in the first trial of war criminals. Second, because he advocated the standards that America at its best stands for. We, as a bar association and as lawyers and as citizens, owe America the duty to preserve those standards for the future. He provides all of us with a splendid standard with which we can return again and again for inspiration. You are building here in Jamestown a permanent shrine to keep those inspiring memories alive. You are erecting a standard here in Jamestown to which lawyers and others can return again and again for inspiration now and in the future. May God crown your work with success. Thank you for the invitation to be with you tonight. I am inspired deeply by what you're doing. Thank you.